Hey, in this video, I'm going to tell you one thing I like and one thing I dislike about each of DBD's antagonists. This could range from anything to do with gameplay, perks, character design, sound design, etc. If you enjoy this video, can you please let me know by hitting that like button? And leaving a comment below helps out in a massive way to get this video out to a wider audience. And if you don't know what to comment, just tell me if you think pineapple belongs on pizza. I personally think it does. Agree or disagree? Let me know. And now on to one thing I like and dislike about each of the characters. All right, we're starting off with Trapper, and I really like his selection of cosmetics. His are some of the best in the game, in my opinion. There are so many that change up his look quite a bit, and many of them remain lore accurate. Now, I do not like that he feels like one of the weaker characters in the game. I want to play him more, but choosing him feels like choosing to put myself at a disadvantage. For an OG character in the face of the game, I'd really love for him to be stronger. Right, next up is Wraith, and I really love zooming around the map invisible and catching survivors off guard. Now for what I dislike. Granted, this is a me problem, but I frequently find myself not holding down the button long enough when I'm uncloaking. So then I think I've uncloaked, I go to take a swing, and realize I'm still cloaked. There's just something about the timing that throws me off. Anybody else struggle with this, or is it just me? It's probably me. Next up we have Hillbilly, and I love watching somebody who is very good at Hillbilly play him. Seeing someone like Spooky Loops zoom around the map and getting a one-hit down is pretty exciting. I do not like playing Hillbilly myself. I'm really bad at it, so I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. I like watching, I don't like playing. All right, next up is Nurse, and this one's a bit of a hot take. I actually like that she breaks all the rules. This is super interesting to me on both the killer and the survivor sides of the game, but I don't like that she's disorienting to me to play for long periods of time. Her fatigue is not too bad at first, but over time it gets exhausting. Sorry, not sorry. Next up is Myers, and I really like that he has some really fun builds to put together that when they synergize really well, I have some of my most memorable trials ever. But on the flip side, I do not like that when they don't synergize, he feels very weak. Next up is Hag, and I love scaring the crap out of survivors. When they set off a well-placed trap out of nowhere, and you're still only there taking a swing out of them, it's pretty awesome. I do not like that her perk Hex Ruin has been nerfed into the ground to the point of being useless. Yes, it was overpowered before and needed a reduction, but a Hex perk should be overpowered. It's high risk, high reward. However, Ruin currently feels like high risk, very low reward, if I was to be honest. Next up is Doctor, and I really love his character design. It makes him one of the most creepy and disturbing characters in the game easily, in my mind. I do not like that his pallet stun sounds like a whimper to me. It makes me feel embarrassed every time I get pallet stunned as him. Now, I know it's meant to be a giggle, as if he's enjoying it, which makes him even more creepy. I know that's exactly what the devs were going for, but the first time I heard it as a giggle, and I can't get that sound out of my head. The damage is done. All right, next up we have Huntress, and my favorite part about Huntress is her lullaby. It's both beautiful and haunting at the same time. As for what I dislike, her hitboxes are way too generous. I get that they need to account for things like network lag, but I still feel bad when a hatchet that I very clearly missed because I didn't aim properly suddenly hits the survivor. Next up we have Bubba, and I really love going against a skilled Bubba. It's a lot of fun in my opinion. However, I'm terrible at Survivor, so my MMR is low, so a lot of the Bubbas I face camp, and I don't like that. So skilled Bubba, I really like. Not so skilled Bubba that face camps, nah, I don't like it. All right, next up we have Freddy, and I really like that he has some add-ons that make him a true joy to play as. I had an amazing moment on stream the other week where Bill teabagged me at a dream pallet, and I don't think I've ever laughed harder in this game. However, I do not like playing against Freddy. He typically bores me to tears to play against as Survivor. Next up we have Pig, and I really love facing a stealthy pig. This can lead to some truly brown pants moments. However, I do not love her traps and the RNG element it creates. The slowdown that happens as a result can range anywhere from a minor inconvenience to a real problem. Next up we have Clown, and I love that his Mori is different between the male and female survivors. If you didn't know, the finger he cuts off is different. It's a subtle detail that I love that they included. Now, I don't like knowing that there are some people who really struggle going against him because of the disorientation effects. I've heard from several viewers who actually have real-life physical reactions because of the effects his tonics have. So I do not like playing Clown knowing that I could actually be causing somebody real-life discomfort. True, this won't affect most people, but just the remote possibility makes me less likely to choose Clown, honestly. Now we come to Spirit, and I really love how they capture her emotions between rage and grief, switching back and forth so well in her character. I think her facial animations are truly amazing. Now, to be honest, there's not much I dislike about Spirit. I really had to think about this one. But if I was to be picky, it would be how her ability is really dependent on a set of headphones. I feel like she's probably a lot harder to play casually on a set of TV speakers than a lot of the others. But I also say that as somebody who always plays with headphones. So if you play her just on TV speakers, let me know down in the comments how hard does that make it compared to headphones, I guess. Now we come to Legion, and their chase music is probably the best thing about them, in my opinion. Not only is it really fun music, but the ability to change it up based on which add-on you take with you is a huge touch. Now, I dislike that when a team really knows how to play against Legion, you feel really weak, and they can be kind of uninteresting to play then. Next up, we have Plague, and I'm honestly resisting the urge to say everything, since she's my main. But one of the things I love most about her is that her ability puts survivors into a bad choice situation. They can choose to remain infected, and thus becoming exposed in a one-hit down, or cleanse and turn her into an overpowered ranged attacker. Based on what the team of survivors chooses, can dramatically affect the outcome, and so there's a lot of variety playing as Plague. Now, I get really annoyed that there's definitely some places on the map that you should absolutely be able to send her vomit through, but for whatever reason you can't. And this gets me a lot of the time, so I don't like it. It's annoying. Next up, we have Ghostface, and I love how simultaneously he can be one of the most terrifying and memey characters in the game, especially with his ability to teabag. As for what I don't like, I feel like I go against a lot of Ghostfaces. And I don't play a lot of Survivor, granted, but when I do, I feel like I see quite a few of them. So I'm not going to say it gets boring, but I'd kind of like to see some of the other ones, maybe? Like, I've never actually seen a clown. I'd have to actually play Survivor to see a clown, I suppose, but, you know, whatever. Next up, we come to Demo, and I like that he has both chase and mobility abilities, and yet he's still one of, if not the most balanced character in the game. As for what I dislike, now somebody's probably going to blast me in the comments for this being a low-effort take, but I don't like that he was removed from the game. Netflix, give our good boy back so that more people can enjoy him, please. Now we come to Ani, and I really like using his blood orbs to track survivors. I love information gathering abilities and perks, so having that built into his base kit is really nice. Now, I don't really like his non-default cosmetic options. If you enjoy them, that's awesome. I don't. They're just not for me. I just prefer his default, and I don't want to spend any shards or money to get something else. I'm just not motivated to. It's kind of weird. I want one, but I don't like any of the ones that are available. Next up, we have Deathslinger, and I really like his range attack and find it super satisfying to use. When you connect with the Redeemer, it's great. I do not like that he doesn't have iron sights on the Death to Bayshore. I understand not having a reticle, but even if just for authenticity's sake, I'd love if his weapon had a set of iron sights. It seems weird that it doesn't. Anybody who's played Tarkov knows that iron sights can still be tricky. I don't feel like it would make him too OP to have iron sights on his weapon. Just saying. All right, we come to Pyramid Head, and I think his sound design is absolutely incredible. His music is perfect for the character. The scraping sounds he makes as he walks and drags his blade is just truly unsettling. I mean, he's just deeply disturbing by sound alone. Now, I do not like how utterly terrible I am with him. I am not good with Pyramid Head, but I want to get better so I can enjoy him more, because I think he's an incredibly well-done character. Next up, we have Blight, and I love playing against a good Blight and trying to dodge his rushes. It's a lot of fun. Now, I do not like playing Blight on an indoor map with tight corridors. That sucks. Next up, we have Twins, and I love the ability to switch between two characters as the killer. I think it's honestly a really neat concept. I do not like that they are still bugged and have been for quite a while, and it doesn't seem like Behavior has any motivation to fix it. Now, to be fair, it could be because sometimes simple bugs are not actually that simple to fix. They can be incredibly complicated. So this could be what's going on with the Twins. But I'm also tempted to think that they probably just aren't motivated to invest any actual development time into fixing them because only a handful of people play them. Either way, I understand it, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. Fix the bugs. Next up, we have Trickster, and I love that I really think they captured the psychoticness of his character through the sounds and voice lines that he uses. I love turning the subtitles on and seeing what he says in Korean. Some of it's hilarious because he vacillates between dropping F-bombs to, oh shoot. It's pretty funny. Now, I honestly don't like playing as the Trickster. He just feels like a weaker Huntress. I'd, in every case, rather play Huntress, to be honest. I don't know. If you like playing as him, awesome. All power to you. Like what you like. He's just not for me. I'd almost always rather play Huntress, I think. Now we get to Nemesis, and I love how powerful they made him feel to play. They didn't make him overpowered in terms of gameplay, but between his music, his animations, and his sound effects, he feels powerful to play as. Now for what I dislike. I don't like any of his add-ons. I feel like most of them are completely useless. And I wish they did more to change up how to play him. I don't know. I don't really have any suggestions. I just would like it to be better. Now we come to Pinhead, and he feels incredible to play aesthetically. His animations, music, and voice lines make him a lot of fun. And you feel just incredibly powerful as a result. However, I despise going against Pinhead. He's probably my least favorite in the game to play. He's a literal pain to go against. We come to the artist, and I think her character design is absolutely incredible. She's one of the coolest looking characters on the roster. Beauty and horror are mixed very well with her, and she's a very tragic character, and I think they captured that very well with her character design. But I don't like how clunky she feels to play. Now, I've been assured by artist mains that that feeling goes away as you get used to her, but currently she feels clunky to me, and I don't like it. Next up is the Onryo, and her atmospheric elements are truly amazing and terrifying at the same time. Her sound design and animations are some of my favorite in the game. Just deeply unsettling. But she's one of the weaker characters on the roster, and I wish she had a better anti-loop ability. We come to the Dredge, and the sounds that accompany the Dredge are amazing. Everything from the wailing of his previous victims, to the sounds he makes as he teleports, picks up survivors, initiates nightfall. His chase music, it's all so good. It captures the feel of the Dredge very well. But I do not like that the Dredge's main ability can really be nerfed by the locker spawns. Where I've noticed this most is on the game, where some of the lockers will spawn all clumped together, and then other areas of the map won't have any lockers at all, making it really hard to get over there. Related to that as well, it's my understanding, unless they've changed it, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but if there's two lockers together and one of them is locked, the Dredge will always teleport to the locked locker, which is kind of silly in my opinion. So depending on the locker spawns, the Dredge can be really held back, or helped in some cases, but it's RNG, and I don't like that. I don't like the main ability being based on RNG. All right, now we come to Wesker, and one of the best things about Wesker is his chase music. They match the feel of Resident Evil perfectly. It's just epic and harrowing, and you really truly feel like you're in a Resident Evil boss fight the whole time. Now for what I dislike. This is being nitpicky, I will admit, but I do not like the end of his Mori. The concept I love, but the two little tentacles that like pop out of the survivor's eyes are like teeny tiny. They're like little worms wiggling around. I feel like they should be thicker and girthier, and this is getting awkward. Yeah, but you know the point. Why are they little? I don't get it. Anyways. All right, we come to the Knight, and I love the Knight's lore. It's dark and disturbing, but also exciting and action heavy. I just don't enjoy playing as the Knight. It's okay, but I find very little motivation to choose him. He's just not that interesting to me. All right, and for our latest character, the Skull Merchant. Her atmospheric design elements are some of the best, in my opinion. From the first-person perspective, her animations and sound design are really cool. That said, I do not like the way that they try to merge the two sides of her personality, the sleek billionaire and pragmatic mechanic. Like, it's fine that both of those are part of her character, but her default cosmetic has her in overalls with a crude mechanical arm that's literally duct taped to her wrist, and then a blinged-out face mask. It just doesn't, it's not cohesive all the way through. And then her purple outfit has her in a fancy outfit with a very industrial looking mask. Honestly, I wish they had swapped the face masks and gone either full bling or full industrial with each one. I appreciate the two sides of her personality being represented. Somebody can enjoy two different styles of things. I like dressing up and I like camping. Those two generally don't overlap very well at the same time. I like the two sides of her personality being represented, but they either need to be more thoroughly melded together all the way through, or just separated completely and represented through different cosmetic sets, at least in my opinion. All right, so that's one thing I like and one thing I dislike about every DBD antagonist. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. As always, you are awesome, stay awesome, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers. Her fatigue, but a Hex Park. Next up we have Clown, and I love that his Mori is actually different between... I don't know what was happening there. I think her face... Next up is Ghostface, and I love that he can be one of the most terrifying and memey... I almost said survivors. Wow. Next up we have Demo, and I like that he has both chase and mobility... Wow, I can't remember the end of that sentence. We come to the Dredge, and... What do I want to say about the Dredge? The Dredge will always teleport from the first person. That said, I do not like the bizarre way that the two sides of our